Alright, here's Sun Services Garage. We got a 2008 BMW 528i here in the shop. Uh, got a bad, severe case of oil leaking around the oil pan gasket. You see it all down here. It got to the point where now it's just leaking way down to the exhaust manifold and smoking really bad. It's been happening for a while. I guess now it's just bad enough for them to actually get it done. Again, not a super tutorial here or anything like that. Just this probably haven't seen anything, but I haven't looked at it, so I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of videos and stuff like this. But I usually take off the entire fuel rail. You got four actually bolts that hold the fuel rail together like this. I know in the manuals it tells you to unclip, leave the injectors and unclip them here, but it's tedious. It takes you forever to get to those little clips. Sometimes they'll fling and fly around and lose them, and yeah, it's not fun. Sounds like I have experience in that, right? Yeah, I do. So now I just take the four bolts out, take the entire fuel rail out. As you can see, it actually makes it a lot easier. Now you can just flap it over and push it onto this side, and you have a whole free range at the valve cover here. You see, I just put some paper in these valve covers, in the injector holes, just to keep crap from falling in there. Obviously, you take off your coils. These are pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know how to take these coils out, probably shouldn't be doing the job. Another thing is, disconnecting everything, getting it out. Another thing is this Valvetronic motor, Medtronic motor. This seal here, I got a new one as well. So we'll be replacing the valve cover with the O-rings that go in each one of these in the coils for the spark plugs. But this here is what I want to talk about. Has a little button back here, a hole you would put in a 4mm, I believe, Allen key. Then you got these Torx right in there. You can see them there. Those are the get some light. Yep, that's it. Those Torx. You want to pull those out little by little. This motor has some recoil. If you just try to take these two off and pull the motor out, it'll like swing out, and yeah, isn't that a good thing? So basically what I do is, people always say how it's so difficult and reprogramming and all that. These things are self-learning. You don't really have to do anything. You just don't want the recoil to shoot them out. So basically I loosen these, I break these free little by little, both of them. Once they're broken on, you get that little tension in there. Then you put the Allen key back here, start twisting it counterclockwise. You'll start feeling it let go. Once you get a little bit of tension in the turning that Allen key, then you let these go a little bit more, little by little. You turn the back again a little bit more, turn those a little bit, turn this a little bit, then eventually you'll feel it. No tension in the spring in there. Then it'll be fine for you to release those two bolts and just pull it out. Won't recoil or anything like that. Then remove these Torx screws here. Remove this as the gasket behind it. Let me go show you these. I got them under. This is the gasket we're going to use. It's just a regular one from Advanced Auto Parts. I always tell people it's best to use the factory equipment, but yeah, sometimes the prices is what people are looking at. And this is the gasket for that Valvetronic motor. Alright. And another thing, these screws here for the valve cover, most of them don't come out, but be careful, because some of them are loosened up from the base down here, and it will come out. There's two down here that don't have that, so they have to be pulled out. But like I have here, like I said, these are the two that will come out. There's no base, so those two, be careful when you grab them. The two that are right, one right below the motor here, and one right there to the right of it. But I had one of these that the whole base is already loose and the whole thing just came out. These things, if you drop them down there, then you gotta go and remove shields and covers at the bottom and all kinds of things to try to find it. Okay, now I'm loosen these up. There's 3 here, and there's 19 bolts around the valve cover, and then there's 3 in the center here. So basically these are long 10mm deep sockets. Pull those out. These are E10. Okay. Alright, got the cover off now. Here's the cover. Okay, taking off this gasket, you can see this is the side that was leaking really bad. Yeah, it's original gasket. It's pretty stuck on there. It's pretty brittle. You can see it cracking as I'm taking it off. This used to be nice pliable rubber. Now it's just brittle and hard. These are the center ones for the for where your spark plug has cylinder. Alright. So these will be replaced as well. This whole gasket on the outside will be replaced. You can hear it creaking and cracking as I'm taking it off. Yeah, brakes. Okay. This gasket here will be replaced. This is what it looks like inside. Doesn't look too bad. It still looks pretty clean. He uses the upright. This is another thing here on these spark plug shields. A lot of people will tell you to use these 2 little holes. There's a little tool that you buy, you put it in there, and it's kind of like a snap ring plier thing. And you compress these 2 together and you pull them up before you take out the valve cover. So you can pull these all out like that. It doesn't bother me. I take off the valve cover. They all stay in their places like this. And you take them out. Nice and easy. No special tools, no nothing. And when you put them back in, you just slide them in through the top portion of them. You want to seal up the little bottom end here. Lubricate it. Slide them back in through the thing until they click in place. Nice and easy. There we go. A couple of the spark plug chambers, you can see they were leaking in. There's oil in there. This one's clean, but this one was leaking already oil from those gaskets I showed you inside the yeah, that one's filled with oil. That one has some sediment in it as well. Last one is pretty clean. So what that does usually will cause misfires and all those things. So okay, there we go. Okay, here we got the valve cover gasket done. The valve cover is back on. This is the new gasket. You can see it inside there. Nice blue gasket all the way around. I've already torqued the bolts down to spec. If you guys need any specs or torques and stuff like that, you guys can always hit me up and I'll be more happy to send it over to you. I cleaned off the valve cover as much as I possibly could. There's a lot of built up grime and stuff on it, and threw some brake cleaner on some of it and some degrease on others. Still a little bit wet there, but yeah, got those done. Everything is put back in. Got this here out, the Valvetronic motor gasket. I just took this old one off. I waited to the end. Once I put the valve cover back on, that's when I took off these 2 Torx. I believe these are 30T30s. You get these 2 out. I'm gonna put the new one back in. Once I get that back on in there, then I'll put the motor back in, and the motor goes back in. This is it here. So yeah, goes in this way. It's got that 1 bolt that holds it at the bottom here, then the 2 bolts right here and right there. So as I'm putting this back in, I'll be turning the same Allen key, gonna go right in there. it's a Allen key, the 4mm. Then I'll turn it clockwise and start screwing this thing. So basically when you're turning this, you're just actually turning this shaft here. So this will start turning and going right back into place. I'll then put the 2 bolts back in here and plug it all back in, and that'll be pretty much that on there. Everything just goes back in reverse order, huh? Okay, yeah.